Hello, fans. The minute Dante opens up to Sonny about Rocco, everything changes. And honestly, guys, I think this is exactly the kind of storyline General Hospital has been quietly building toward for months now. Because Dante is running out of options. You can see it coming from a mile away. He's a cop. He believes in the law. He believes in accountability. But this time, the problem is his own son. That changes the entire equation. And if you ask me, Dante finally going to Sonny for help would be one of the biggest emotional turning points this show could give us right now. Because Dante never does this. That's the key here. Dante has spent years trying to stay separate from Sonny's world. Even when things got ugly, even when danger exploded around the family, Dante usually tried to handle it through legal channels, through procedure, through control. But this situation with Rocco, this is different because Dante knows one brutal truth. If the police fully uncover what happened to Cullum, Rocco's life could be destroyed before he even has a chance to become the man Dante wants him to be. And I really think Dante is reaching the point where fear overrides pride. The second Dante confesses to Sonny that Rocco is the one who shot Cullum, Sonny's brain immediately starts moving 10 steps ahead. That's who Sonny is. He doesn't sit around crying over impossible situations. He reacts fast, quietly, ruthlessly, if necessary. I can already picture Sonny standing there in absolute shock for maybe 5 seconds after hearing the truth. Because this isn't just some random kid anymore. This is his grandson, Dante's son, family. And Sonny always protects family first. Always. What makes this even more dangerous is that Jason is currently taking the fall while sitting trapped by the WSB. That part matters more than people realize. Because once Sonny understands Jason is effectively suffering for something Rocco did, the mission becomes personal on multiple levels. Now, Sonny has two goals. Protect Rocco, get Jason out, and the timing could not be worse because Cullum is spiraling into obsession right now. The latest signs make it painfully obvious that Cullum is hunting for the shooter, and somehow Danny is landing directly in that line of fire. That's where the situation becomes terrifying for me personally because Danny is innocent. Completely innocent. I don't even think Cullum truly knows what he's doing anymore. He's angry, humiliated, paranoid. That combination creates the most dangerous type of enemy possible. And guys, if Cullum starts believing Danny was involved, then Danny immediately becomes vulnerable in a way we haven't seen before. The kid already lost Sam. Jason isn't around to protect him. Danny is emotionally exposed and physically exposed at the exact same time. That's why I think Britt is about to become far more important than people expect. Because Britt, seeing the danger before everyone else, would fit perfectly with her instincts. She's always been sharp when it comes to reading people and sensing incoming chaos. I honestly think Britt may overhear something or notice movement from Cullum's side that confirms Danny is being targeted. And the second Britt realizes Danny could be attacked, she's going straight to Sonny. Not the police. Not Anna. Sonny. Because deep down, everybody knows Sonny is still the most effective protector in Port Charles when real danger starts closing in. That's the irony of this whole story. People judge Sonny's methods constantly, but when fear becomes real, when lives are actually at risk, everybody eventually ends up at Sonny's door asking for help. Dante may hate that reality. Britt may hate that reality. But it's still reality. And Sonny knows exactly what kind of war this is becoming. That's why I don't think Sonny's first move will actually be taking down Cullum directly. A lot of viewers probably expect Sonny to immediately send somebody after him, but honestly, I think Sonny is smarter than that right now. Cullum is unstable. Desperate people are unpredictable. That makes direct retaliation risky. So Sonny's priority becomes protection before revenge. That's where the island enters the story. And honestly, I think this would be one of the smartest moves Sonny has made in years. Because if Sonny secretly relocates both Rocco and Danny to the island under heavy guard, it immediately removes them from Cullum's reach while also buying time. Time is everything in this kind of storyline. Sonny understands that if Cullum cannot find the boys, Cullum starts making mistakes. Panicked enemies expose themselves. That's criminal strategy 101. And I actually love the emotional symbolism behind Sonny protecting both boys together. Think about what that represents. Rocco is Dante's son. Danny is Jason's son. Two branches of Sonny's family connected by one crisis. That creates emotional weight the show can really dig into. Especially because Danny and Rocco are both carrying trauma already. Danny lost Sam. Rocco is probably drowning in guilt after the shooting. Hiding them away together could create some powerful scenes where both kids are forced to confront fear, grief, and responsibility at the same time. That's the kind of material General Hospital is strongest at when it slows down and lets characters breathe emotionally. Now let's talk about Jason, because this is where the entire story could explode. There is absolutely no logical reason for the WSB to continue holding Jason once the truth starts surfacing. And Cullum may accidentally destroy his own leverage here. If Cullum slips up and tells the wrong person that Jason wasn't actually the shooter, the entire foundation keeping Jason imprisoned starts collapsing. That would be classic soap irony. The villain exposing the truth without meaning to. And the second Jason comes back to Port Charles, the energy of this story changes immediately because Jason doesn't need speeches. Jason doesn't need emotional debates. Jason protects people through action. Quiet action. Efficient action. Deadly action if pushed too far. If you ask me, Sonny getting Jason back home may secretly be the real centerpiece of this whole arc. The Rocco situation might just be the trigger that reunites Sonny and Jason operationally again. And once that happens, Cullum's problems multiply instantly. Because Sonny protecting Danny is dangerous enough. Sonny and Jason protecting Danny together, that becomes almost impossible to penetrate. Add Rocco into that protected circle too, and suddenly Cullum is fighting ghosts. He won't know where the boys are. He won't know who's guarding them. He won't know who's watching him. That psychological pressure matters. People underestimate how Sonny wins battles. Half the time he wins before the confrontation even starts because he controls fear better than everyone else. And honestly, Dante may finally feel relief for the first time in weeks once Rocco disappears into Sonny's protection network. I think that's important emotionally because Dante has probably been suffocating under the pressure of this secret. Imagine carrying the knowledge that your son pulled a trigger while trying to uphold the law every single day. That destroys a person internally. So Dante trusting Sonny here is not weakness to me. It's desperation mixed with fatherhood. That's different. And ironically, Sonny may end up becoming the stabilizing force Dante never wanted to need. That's what makes this storyline compelling. It forces characters into emotional corners where their principles start colliding with love, fear, and survival. Meanwhile, Cullum, slowly realizing he cannot reach Danny or Rocco could drive him even more unstable. And personally, I think that's where the real danger begins because desperate villains don't stop. They escalate, which means Sonny better move fast because if Sonny waits too long, somebody innocent could get caught in the middle before Jason even makes it home.